Thanks. All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to episode 64 of Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 27th of January. And let's go down the list as usual. Chris, how's it going?
Hey Adam, hey guys, how you doing?
Good. Hernan's a little noisy today. How's it going?
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm abroad, I'm traveling, so anyways, I didn't want to miss. I even got my Semantic Mastery t-shirt over here, so
Nice.
It's good to be here.
Nice, nice. Marco, how's it going, man?
Hey everybody, what's up? I finally got good internet, so I'm here.
Awesome.
You got faster mice. The wheels are spinning faster now, right?
Right.
And Bradley, last but not least, how's it going?
Good, man. Glad to be here.
Good deal. Well, I'll just go through the announcements real quick. Today I wanted to let everybody know we announced it a couple of weeks ago and we brought it up, but the price on the Mastermind membership is going up after the Hump Day Hangout today. So you'll have a little bit of time while we configure things, but if you're interested in joining the Mastermind, I highly suggest you do so now. It's going up by $100 here in just a couple hours. So I'm going to pop that link in there. And for announcements, that's all I have today. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to share?
No, other than I'm going to be calling kind of like an emergency mastermind session for tomorrow. Tomorrow's not our mastermind webinar, but I'm going to call one anyways at 4 p.m. It'll be short. It's just kind of an announcement, some new project that we're going to be introducing to the mastermind that we're looking for volunteers for help to be part of it, to actually be part of the project. And I think it's going to be really interesting. We're bringing on potentially a partner that's going to help us set up some campaigns and things and we're going to need some volunteers from the mastermind that want to participate. And there are going to be some benefits for participating as well. And so I'm going to be calling that for any mastermind members that happen to be watching Hump Day Hangouts today. That's going to be kind of just an impromptu mastermind setup for tomorrow at 4 p.m. Anybody that can't attend that's in the mastermind, that's okay. The replay will be made available, and we're still going to be taking volunteers afterwards, but we're just going to try to check the excitement level because I'm pretty excited about that. So that was really the only other announcement that I could think of. So we're good?
Outstanding. Yeah, let's get to it.
All right. We got some questions. Let me grab the screen, and we'll jump right on it. Okay, you guys should be seeing my screen, correct? Let me lock it on there.
Yep.
All right. Okay, Tim, I suppose it's Tim, says, hey guys, I'm currently still building my IFTTT networks myself. Oh, God bless you, Tim. It says, my VA isn't fully trained yet, and as you know, building a multi-tiered network is very time-consuming. Yes, it is. I was wondering if building 3 additional Tier 2 rings is actually worth the effort or time if you're not planning on powering up those with GSA or FCS. It is, Tim. It's worth the time, especially if it's for YouTube. If you're doing video syndication networks, it's still very valuable. Like, I don't do YouTube syndication networks now unless they're full 2-tier networks. Like, that's just it. If I'm going to add a network to a YouTube channel, it's a full 2-tier network. If it's a money site, a blog for a blog syndication, then no, I wouldn't do it just because I don't typically use tiered networks for blog syndication. I've mentioned that dozens of times, but just because it's too much management, I just do Tier 1 branded network and empower the hell out of that. So it's entirely up. My suggestion is if it's a YouTube network or video syndication network, yes, you should still do the full 2-tier network. But if it's not, if it's just a blog syndication network, then just stick with Tier 1, the branded ring. I'm not doubting that they still have positive effect on your money site, which might have answered my question right there. But I'm just wondering if these 3 additional Tier 2 rings are actually worth my time, or if a properly built Tier 1 network should be enough in my case. And if you think additional tiers are absolutely worth it, even if you're not going to power them up, I'd like to know why that's the case in your opinion. Thanks in advance. Okay, Tim, well, the other part of that then is if indeed it is for blog syndication and you're only doing it for one site, like for example, if you're not an agency or you're not an SEO consultant where you're managing multiple properties, then I would still do it. Because if you've only got one property, like one website that you're trying to rank, it will help as long as you follow the instructions and set up related content triggers for your Tier 2 networks, that kind of thing, because over time those are going to become very powerful, even if you don't boost them by building additional links to them, in part because those related content triggers are going to be feeding your Tier 2 networks with related relevant content, hopefully from authority content sources, or at least content sources that are topically relevant and have, you know, some sort of authority and potentially social activity as well. And so that activity on your tier 2 networks alone, the consistency, the repeated activity with topically relevant content is going to make those tier 2 networks more powerful, which will in turn juice up your tier 1 network and eventually your money site. So
Yeah, I was just going to add that the key word in this whole thing is enough, because we get asked time and again how many rings are enough to rank, and our standard answer is as many as it takes, right? So he needs to try it out and just keep adding rings until he overpowers the competition.
yeah. However, with blogs though, you don't want to. With blog syndication, I wouldn't add any more rings than just tier 2. Like, for example, I would have your branded tier 1 network and then your 3 tier 2 rings, and then I would stop at that for blog syndication. For video syndication, you can stack as many networks as you'd like. But yeah, I mean, again, Tim, it totally depends. Like, my standard answer for any SEO question is it depends. So it depends on your specific situation. With the limited information I have, it seems like you only got one site. If that's the case, I would go ahead and still build the second tier, but only if you're willing to put in to set them up properly with related content triggers at tier 2. Because if you're not doing that, you're leaving yourself open with a pretty obvious footprint, and that could cause you damage. Not initially, it wouldn't happen right away, but over time it could. If you continually posted to your full 2-tier network without any additional content triggers on tier 2, it could cause you issues down the road. So that's critical. If you're going to use the full 2-tier networks, you just got to make sure that you, for blog syndication, you just got to make sure that you follow the training for long-term success. So, Jamina, maybe? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Says, hello guys, when building your networks, do you still use Alternion, Dipity, or any of the live stream platforms? You created accounts with these platforms in the course, but I don't think I've ever heard you speak of them or anyone ask a question about them. I do believe I've heard you say more than once not to use spliced feeds. Am I correct? Okay, for the first question, do we use them? Yes, we still use them. Dipity, though, Alternion is kind of buggy. Well, a lot of those live stream sites are buggy, by the way. We still absolutely use them. Dipity, however, that has changed since the original training, and I could have sworn I put an update video in the update section about it, about how that's optional now. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not, because Dipity has changed to where it will only allow so many posts without having a paid account. Like, a free account is limited now. It used to be where it didn't used to be that way. When we created the training, Dipity would allow you to have a free account and you could just continually post to the timeline, they call it. But now it's like it will only allow so many posts and then it just stops working unless you upgrade to a paid account. So my recommendation is either skip it or just know that you're using it as kind of like another hub to just tie all of your accounts together, because the posting is eventually going to stop to it unless you upgrade to a paid account. So it's optional. Alternion is absolutely, we still use it, but again, it's buggy as well. That's one of those sites that it's up and it's down. As far as the other ones, Paper.li is a strange site. It works well. It's a powerful site, but it's a strange site. But Rebel Mouse, hands down, use it. Flavors.me, we use that. So the live stream sites are still valid. We still build them when we build out networks for clients or for customers.
Curator is good. It's really good as well. I really like that platform.
Yeah. Yep, with a K. Curator with a K.
Curator.
I do believe I've heard you say more than once not to use splice feeds. Am I correct? Yeah, there's apparently some confusion with that. It seems to be more of a recent confusion than it used to be. What I talk about with splice feeds is not to use splice feeds when you're triggering your IFTTT networks. You can splice feeds to push to your live stream sites if you'd like, but what I'm talking about is do not use splice feeds to trigger tier 2 networks if you're doing blog syndication. And the reason why is because if you're splicing feeds together from other content sources and there's not an attribution link coded in to those other content sources RSS feed, then you could be plagiarizing content and you could be like literally copyright infringement. And we've had we've had it to where some people have done that and there was no attribution link in the RSS feed and they got, you know, cease and desist orders from the content sources, and that's because they weren't properly attributing the sources. And so when you splice feeds together, you're not able to attribute the source if any of the feeds contain content that don't have attribution links already coded in. Most RSS feeds do nowadays, but some still do not. And the ones that do not require you to code in your own attribution feed link back to the content source, which you can accomplish in the IFTTT triggers when you're setting up the recipe. So that's why I say you have to check each content source, related content source that you're going to use. You have to check the RSS feeds individually and see if they contain an attribution link. Then you could splice them if they all do. But if any of them do not, then you cannot. You do not splice it, because then you'll be plagiarizing content. So, or using copyrighted content. So I recommend that you don't use splice feeds to trigger your networks. Just to keep it simple. Okay. If
Also,
you're going to splice, I'm sorry, go ahead, Marco.
yeah, if the feed has a Getty image and you use it without their permission, they're going to sue you.
Yep, it's true.
So you can get into a lot of trouble. You have to know what you're doing.
Yep. So the other part of that is, if where we talk about using splice feeds is in the Advanced RSS Academy, which is kind of like something else that you can do after all your networks have been built that can give you additional build some additional authority, get some additional reach, push a little bit more, build some additional backlinks. And you can splice feeds there. You're free to do that, because then all you're doing is submitting RSS feeds to directories and aggregators, RSS directories and aggregators. So that's fine. So again, the confusion usually comes up where somebody says, where they start to combine the Advanced RSS Academy training with IFTTT SEO Academy, and don't. Keep those separate, because they're two different methods, two different purposes for using feeds. Okay. One of our other students has had serious issues with that too. So, because using splice feeds were mentioned in the course, yes, they were, but they should have been mentioned only in the Advanced RSS training. Also, can we use posting from our main website as a trigger in IFTTT instead of using RSS feeds? So I'm assuming what you're saying is, can you connect like your main WordPress site, your self-hosted WordPress site, as a channel in IFTTT and create recipes if WordPress then whatever? Yes, you can do that. However, first of all, if you do that, you can only activate one WordPress channel in IFTTT in an IFTTT account. That was hard to pronounce. You can only have one active channel per IFTTT account. So if you activate your self-hosted WordPress blog as the WordPress channel, then now you cannot activate a WordPress.com blog. So you first of all, you lose that. Second of all, a lot of the times self-hosted WordPress blogs have connection issues with IFTTT because of various plugins. Sometimes it's the theme incompatibility. Okay, so that will oftentimes give you problems. It won't post correctly. So that's another reason why we don't do it. You can, but trust me, the reason why we use the RSS feed recipes was because that was the one that worked the best. It was the easiest to set up, and it didn't cause issues, as well as it allows us to still use a WordPress.com blog in that Tier 1 syndication, because the channel isn't being taken up by our money site, which could have fed the networks via RSS anyways, if that makes sense. So, again, the reason we have the recipes the way that we do is because we tested this. I've been using IFTTT now for about 4 years, and trust me, that's been tested and proven. Don't get me wrong. You're free to set up any recipes you want. We're not saying ours are the best. You can do it, get as creative as you want, test it, play with it, do whatever you want, guys. We're just giving you the template that we use through all the testing that we've done, because it works consistently and well. Okay? Okay, Paul says, hi guys, my question is about the IFTTT live stream accounts. Looks like we got 2 of those today. That's odd. We've gone months with no questions. All of a sudden we get 2 in one day. Did we lose flavors.me and Paper.li to be able to connect the other accounts links to for free? Paper.li, if you pay, you can connect 5 accounts. Haven't opened any of the live streams for new networks in a while, and some of the accounts have changed their platform. Not that I'm aware of, Paul. I'm not aware of them changing. Flavors.me, as far as I know, we're still using them. I haven't actually built a site network myself in months, because we have VAs that do that. Does anybody know for sure?
Yeah, I did for for a new project that I'm working on, and I think it was last week, and it was working perfectly well. Flavors.me. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Good, because that was one of my favorite ones. I like that site a lot for live stream stuff because the layout is really nice, especially for YouTube stuff. So, as far as I know, Paul, no. Paper.li, that's a tricky site to set up, anyways. Like, honestly, like if I had to build a network on my own, I'd skip that. I've got VAs that do it, so I tell them do it. You know, since I don't have to do it, and it's frustrating setting that site up because it's kind of tricky to set up. So, you know, again, if it were me and I had to build it, I'd skip it. But since I pay somebody else to do it, I tell them to make sure it's done. So, guys, I'm a big fan of easy. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to like, if I have to do these manually myself, there are accounts that I skip because they're just too much of a pain in the ass to worry about. And there's so many other good accounts that work that I run with what works well. You know what I mean? And skip the other ones. If it came down to it, you know. So, Damon says, how many tweets is standard before Google considers your Twitter account an authority? I've heard 3,000 to 5,000, but I'm going to start testing. Do you know of a good automated retweet tool? Yeah, IFTTT. That's what we use, right? Marco, you want to chime in on this?
Twitter SEO Academy.
Yeah, but the retweet tool that we use is IFTTT, correct?
Yeah. We shoot everything through IFTTT.
Yep. As far as
actually, if see, I'm not really getting this, because if he's asking about getting retweets, then hands down, Twitter SEO Academy will show you how to get retweets and how to retweet other people's content.
Right.
I mean, everything is in there. Everything is all you do is hook it up to IFTTT, set up the recipes. The recipes are given to you, and it just goes on auto, and it's just awesome.
Yep. As far as how many tweets does it take before Google considers your an account an authority? I don't know, because I've taken some new Twitter accounts, and by setting up the automated retweet recipes from that are in Twitter SEO Academy, I've been able to get, I don't know what your definition of as an authority, but I've been able to get a new Twitter account out of the sandbox and build over 1,000 followers that were relevant followers within about 10 days time. And the auto retweets will sometimes tweet 20,000 tweets in that 10-day time span, but it's out of the sandbox and it's got relevant followers. There's activity, like the notification bar is lit up with people favoriting, retweeting, and commenting. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what the number is exactly, because usually when I do it, I just set them up via the training from Twitter SEO Academy and just let it run on an autopilot, and then it does what I need it to do. So I'm sorry I don't have any more information. If Dr. Gary was on, he'd probably have the exact answer for you, because he's the one he's our Twitter nerd.
I also think that the more spam that the niche is, the more difficult it is to get it out of the sandbox and to kind of get authority or get a foothold in that niche.
Right.
Simply because of the keywords that you're using, it's even harder to get out of the sandbox, man. So some of them are really tough. So on this one again, it's going to depend on the niche probably.
The reputation of the niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Dana says, can we use duplicate written content across all of our Web 2s that point to the money sites, or should each Web 2 have some sort of spinning or rewriting involved? No, Dana, not the way that we teach. When you're doing content syndication from your your main money site, you're syndicating the exact copy of the content with an attribution link. You're citing the source, which is that's how you're supposed to do it. Like, for example, if you do a press release, you don't spin the press release before it goes to every media site that picks it up and republishes it, do you? No, there's no spinning, there's no rewriting. It's the same piece of content that gets picked up and distributed to 250 to 400 different media sites with a link back to the original distribution point. And that's proper attribution. That's how you cite the source. And so there's no way for us to, nor would we want to, spin or rewrite, because that's that spammy SEO shit that everybody does and has been doing for years. And what we do is it makes it easy, first of all, but number two, we're just distributing content word for word from our point of origin ground zero, right, which is our money site or a YouTube channel for that matter. But let's say we're doing blog syndication. We're syndicating the exact blog post across branded properties, so they're extensions of our brand, and they're the exact same content. Nothing's changed, and there's an attribution link saying this post was originally posted on, and it points back to our money site. So we're citing the original source. We don't want to spin it. We don't want to rewrite it. We want it to be the exact, because all we're doing is sharing our own content to our own social properties and Web 2 properties, right? We're saying, hey, this is our content. Yes, it's the same post. By the way, give the credit to this post over here, which links back to our money site, right? Make it easy, and it works really, really well. And that's, we're not trying to hide anything here, guys. We're claiming it. That's why we interlink everything the way we do. We have consistent theming or branding across all of the properties. We link everything together. We link them back to the money site. We're saying, hey, this is us. This is us over here and over here and over here, and this is all us. This is all me, So we're not, that's not. It's like, a lot of the stuff people try to hide their footprint. In this case, we're claiming our footprint. We're saying this is us. So Ed says, hey guys, Bradley, when you build secondary tier 1 networks around YouTube channels, should we, or is it advisable to build secondary tier 2 networks to support those secondary tier 1s? Or would that be a waste of time since the same network already has 3 primary tier 2 networks in the ring? No, Ed, for video syndication, yeah, you can juice it up. Like what I do is, we've got networks where I've got as many as 8 full 2-tier networks connected to one YouTube channel. I could take it further than that. I just haven't. I think the most I've ever done was 8. And so essentially that's 3 or 8 full 2-tier rings, right? And so let's just say that for a minute. Like that's essentially 4 or 8 tier 1 rings, right? And then there's 3 tier 2 rings per tier 1 ring. So that's 24 tier 2 rings. Now think about that. If you do the math, it's insane. But that's why I love YouTube syndication for these networks, because you don't have to worry about footprints or anything. It's strictly about getting the embeds. And it's as long as you're not distributing the description from the videos, you don't have to worry about it causing any problems. As long as all you're doing is posting the embed code and a link back to the channel, you're good to go. But if you think about that, with like 8 full 2-tier networks, would be 8 tier 1s and 24 tier 2s, which comes out to be 32 rings. Let's just use a conservative number of 20 properties per ring. That's 640 web properties, So that's a lot that you can get, and it's very, very powerful that way. So no, Ed, you don't have to worry about. I would suggest, yes, adding tier 2 rings to each individual tier 1. Okay, for YouTube, that is.
Hey, Bradley?
Yes.
Dr. Gary just reached out to me in answer to what was it, Damon's question on how many.
Okay.
We have a persona with almost 60,000 tweets who has gained 2,000 followers, a bunch of retweets and likes, and is on a bunch of lists. And the niche is SEO and internet marketing, and he's considered an authority. He gets on a whole bunch of people following him that are themselves authorities, but it took a whole lot for him to become an authority. However, when Edward Snowden posted his first tweet in Twitter, he automatically became an authority. So it's entirely dependent on the niche, on the person, on the following, on how important it is, I would also say.
So it's variable is what you're saying.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. Okay, is there a problem with blog.com not connecting as a WordPress site with IFTTT? There's always a problem with blog.com. It's another one of those really buggy sites. When it works, we use it. But more often than not, blog is not working correctly. Okay? Just so you know, more often than not, blog.com, it does not work correctly. So, like I tell our network builders, if it's working, when you go to set up to build a network, then add it to the network. If it's not working, skip it. Don't waste any time on it, because it's such a buggy site. Even if you do get it built and it works, like when you're building your network, again, more often than not, it's going to be down. So when you're posting to your money site or your YouTube channel or whatever, it's not going to syndicate to blog because blog.com is down. And so that's why I said, if it's available when I'm building the networks or when I'm having networks built, whatever, go ahead and add it. But if it's not, skip it. Move on. because it's going to be a waste of time. Okay. He says he's tried to connect the channel. I keep getting an error message. All my settings of blog.com are as correct as shown in the training. Please advise. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If it's not working, it's not working. Just skip it. Move on. Don't worry about it. It's not that important. There's other properties that do work consistently. You stick with those. Okay. I haven't heard of it not working, like not being able to be connected at all, though, Ed. But you know, like I said, you got other things to worry about, to not spend a lot of time wasted on one property that's going to be down more often than it's up. Okay. Dan says, does there come a time? By the way, just so you know, Ed, you know, if you're doing, I guess if it's for YouTube syndication, then Weebly wouldn't be a good option. But if you're doing blog syndication, like syndicating from a money site or a blog, add Weebly into it, because Weebly's stable as hell. That's a great site, but it just doesn't work for video syndication. It works great for blog syndication, though, right? Okay. Well, hold on. By the way, you know, I haven't tested this. I still think it strips the video out, though. But I was going to say, Ed, you might be able to set up Weebly as a secondary, like a tier 2. You could still set it up within a tier 1 ring, but you could have like the RSS feed from Blogger or Tumblr or something feed Weebly. So you just use the RSS2 recipe, but you just use Weebly as the channel, as the trigger, or excuse me, as the action channel, and use like either Blogger or Tumblr or WordPress.com as a trigger. You could try that and see if it still publishes the video. I don't think it does. I think it still strips the video out. Does anybody on here know that for sure? Hernan, would you know?
No, I am not entirely sure, Bradley.
I think if you use Weebly as a secondary link, it's still, and you use it's fed or triggered by RSS. I think it still strips the video, but you could still get that link built back to that, like, you know, the Blogger, Tumblr, or WordPress.com page where the video sits.
I had it running on a custom RSS feed where it replaced manually the code replaced it. The YouTube embed code replaced it just to have the link, and that was syndicated out to Weebly without problem.
That's what I thought it did. But you still get the link, so that's, you know, it's still valuable for that. You just don't get the embed.
Yeah, but I changed it on the RSS feed level, not on their end.
Right. Well, I'm saying, like, but that's because you did something custom, though, right?
Yeah.
You hacked it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We gotta keep it simple here, Chris. Come on, buddy. If everybody wants to know how to do it, email Chris at. No, I'm kidding. All right, Dan says, does there come a time where you stop throwing good money after bad at videos that are still ranking on page 2 and 3? I have customers that are paying me $300 per month to rank videos and have done everything from optimizing videos using silos as taught, set up branded tier 1 and 3, tier 2 networks around the channel, tried safe links. With one, actually decreased rankings, purchased multiple contextual link packages pointing at tier 1 branded networks, retweets blogs, okay, the whole kitchen sink, in other words. Between the time and money being spent, I am losing, and just want to know if there's a time to throw in the towel, or is there still hope? Yeah, go back and look, Dan. Like, I know this is probably not what you're going to want to hear, but there are some keywords that you're just not going to be able to rank videos for. Period. That happens from time to time, and so that's oftentimes why I don't. That's why I don't promise video rankings unless I've tested it. So, like, when I'm speaking to potentially a new client, or one of the video production companies comes to me and says, "Oh, I've got another client here that they want to rank," I ask them, "What keywords would you like to rank for?" Then I do some research, and then I get back to them and say, "Okay, here's the keywords that I can rank you for." I don't say, "Okay, yes, I can rank you for this keyword, that whatever you want." So, Dan, what I'm saying is there are some keywords that you're just gonna, you could probably still get them to rank with a lot more effort. But if it's not worth it, then I would go back to the drawing board as far as keywords. Try to find some related keywords that would rank better. Try some of the adjacent areas, like what we've talked about before, instead of going after, like, I don't know specifically what you're trying to rank for, Dan, and I'm not asking you to tell me. But I'm saying if you're going after a particularly tough keyword in, let's say, a major metropolitan area, like, and you're using that city name, that's going to be damn difficult. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but it's going to be difficult. So you could do multiple videos targeting the suburbs or the boroughs or whatever, and use those to generate traffic. It's not the main city keyword, but it could be some ancillary areas, some adjacent areas that could start generating traffic. So, like I said, that's what I don't. you know, there's some keywords that you just can't rank for, or you can, but it's the amount of effort required isn't worth it, especially for $300 a month. So I would go back and look at what other options you have to target other keywords that would be easier that still have value, or again target some other areas that are close by, adjacent, that you could use to have cumulative effect would still generate traffic and leads.
You know, if I can jump in on this,
Please.
because I'm reading this, and when he says the rankings actually decreased, my question would be, when the rankings decreased, did he do anything to the videos while they were doing the do? Because if they were dancing and he hit them, then I just posted the link to the Google Dance blog that he should take a really good look at, so that he has an idea of when he should just do the normal thing, when he can hit it more, and when he needs to just leave it alone.
Yeah, and just wait. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dan, I've had some videos that I almost gave up on too, or that, well, to be honest with you, there's some videos that I did give up on doing anything else to because they didn't rank within. Typically, if I'm going to provide SEO as a service, you know, ranking videos as a service, I'll say it can take me as much as 30 days, and I usually get them ranked by then. But sometimes I've had some that I had to fight, like what you're talking about here, Dan. And I'd spend 2 months, 10 weeks even, trying to rank the damn things, and they wouldn't rank, and I'd give up on them and move on to something else. And then, 3-4 months later, boom, it's ranked. Like literally, and I just left it alone, and it just took time, and then it ranked. I know that doesn't make your client any happier, especially when they've been paying you for it, but that's why I said I would move on to some other method or some other keywords or even some other areas and do multiple. Like, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to rank you for one video for this one keyword in this one city, say, okay, for the same price, because I was unsuccessful, I'll rank 4 videos for you in these 4 areas, or 4 videos for you in the same area but targeting 4 different keywords. Does that make sense? And I don't mind doing that, guys. Like, if I can get away with charging somebody for just one video and I can get it ranked for them, great. But if I can't, I don't mind going after some of the easier style keywords or areas and doing a couple or 3, even 4 videos for them for the same price to make up for the fact that I couldn't do the original. I don't really care because it's not that much more work. The video is already done. You just got to change the video around a little bit, the file a little bit, or live stream it each time, something like that, which is what I would do anyways. So to me, like, I just want to make sure that the client is ultimately happy. And sometimes if I can't get that main keyword, I'll do that. I'll cut them a deal. Say, hey, look, unfortunately, look, SEO is not an exact science. That's why I don't promise them that. I say I'm going to try my best. If you're not happy, you can cancel payments. I'm not saying I'm giving you a refund, but you can cancel payments. You don't have to continue paying me, or I can target some other keywords in some other areas. And you know what? Instead of just doing 1 video, I'll do 3 for you. How's that sound? So that's what I do. What is POFU? You want to answer that one?
Cue the gambler video.
Yeah. Do we have the video URL?
Yeah, let me grab it real quick. Somebody posted it, or oh no, it was the picture, but I'll bring it up.
It's the position of FU, Kevin.
This is not safe for work, so if you don't want to hear that language,
then
don't.
His back. Look at that. What's your position?
If you guys don't have any, yeah, hold on. Nobody can see that. Do that again, Hernan. Do that again, because
okay. There you go.
It says, "What's your position?" So you want to be in the position of FU. So if you're easily offended, don't watch the link that we're going to drop. Okay. But if you're easily offended, you probably shouldn't be on this webinar with us, anyways. Florian says, "You guys seem short on questions today." Well, then jump on in, buddy. So here's one. If you exclude all the income you get from Semantic Mastery, what are the main streams of revenue for each of you? Client, paper lead, rank and rent, affiliate, video, partnership, with the percentage of each on your income stream. Ooh, I'd actually, to be honest, I don't do my own accounting. I have an accountant that does it for me, so I couldn't give you like percentages. I can give you some ballpark numbers. Most of us know Bradley and Hernan's income streams, but Marco, Adam, and Chris, you are more mysterious about that. Yeah, even I don't know that. So you guys want to chime in?
Tightly guarded secret. Yeah, go ahead if anybody else wants to swing first.
I can jump in because again, I'm like Bradley. I don't do my own accounting. I have people that do that, and so, but like Semantic Mastery is more like it's fun. It's not work. It's not my main stream of income. You know, we're starting up, man. We haven't even been on a year, right? Doing just regularly with our mastermind and all that. As far as percentages, my biggest income generator is consultation work. I mean, I get, I don't know how many times what I get from Semantic Mastery through just consultation. I do some partnerships, and I still have some clients that I've had for a long time, and I am not taking on any new clients. So I mean that's pretty much where I am right now. I do have other stuff that I do, but that's outside of the internet marketing realm or out of the online world, because I do have some brick and mortar stuff that I do. So those are my income streams.
Cool. How about Chris? Chris is in the escort industry. At least he used to be. He's still
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, not from a business angle.
Yeah, right. He's still in the escort industry, but that's purely pleasure. Yeah, me, like I do, you know, I still have a bunch of clients. I got rid of a lot of them recently because Semantic Mastery income is about half of my income now, to be honest with you, because I've started streamlining my business, my local client consulting business, because clients are a pain in the ass. I mean, let's just face it. I've got some clients that I've had for several years, you know, many years now that are good clients. Don't get me wrong. I have some good clients that are easy to work with, and so those are the ones that I kept. I got rid of pretty much all of my pain in the ass clients though over the last like 6 months. So I still have a pretty substantial income from client work, and then I have my lead gen business. Pay per lead is only a small portion of that though. A lot of my lead gen business is on a revenue share model, which is where I only get paid for leads that close into actual jobs, because you guys know I do a lot of contractor type stuff, and then I get a percentage of the contract job. It depends on the agreement that I have with each contractor, but sometimes it's a percentage of the overall contract. Sometimes it's a percentage of the profit from the contract. So that's revenue minus expenses and labor, right? And then whatever's left, the net I'd get a percentage of that. So it just depends on the industry, like which contractor it is and which agreement I have. But the majority of my lead gen money is from revenue share, which I think is the best model. But the only problem with that is it's very difficult to generate or to develop that kind of a relationship with contractors especially contractors that are trustworthy, because it takes a long time to like sift through all the shitty ones, which are a lot, to find ones that they're going to be honest about it. And you have to have that level of integrity or an honesty, or it just doesn't work, because they could lie to you unless you're actually outreaching to leads and following up and finding out if jobs closed and that kind of thing. And I didn't want to do that. So my income outside of Semantic Mastery is split between client work and lead gen work. I still have I've got a little bit of affiliate income, but it's very little, because affiliate is not something I had done until recently. I started doing more affiliate stuff recently. And so I've started generating some affiliate income as well on the side, but I don't have a lot of time for that. If I did, I'd do more of it. So.
Yeah, and that's where I will hop in, Florian. I'm not going to dodge this. I was just thinking, it's funny because when we got together and we all met each other, for me, most of mine, I'll just say a bigger part of mine is affiliate, and the meeting Bradley and seeing how he did lead gen and things like that. That's become a growing part of what I do on the side.
Yeah.
As well as I had done partnership, but it wasn't. It was lead gen, but a lead gen partnership. It was kind of a weird setup, and now I've moved more into trying to get things set up in the long term for lead gen.
Yeah.
On my own, but then I also kind of have a weird background, so I'm moving out of that. I basically do no client work anymore, but I'm still open for stuff based upon my previous life, where I built lasers and stuff like that. So.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
I just fired my last client today. So
Did you
I'm happy
really?
about it. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man. Well, I would have had a beer ready if I'd have known that.
Yeah. We should have one when we next meet. Yeah, I'm all about affiliate and my own projects right now and Semantic Mastery. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
That's great, man. Congratulations. That must be a good feeling when you get to fire your last client. Tell them to go suck an egg, you know. So.
If you want to, I mean, there's still a lot of money there, so
Yeah,
it depends.
there is a lot of money in client work. It's just they're a pain in the ass. They can be a pain in the ass, guys. If you find a good client, hold on to them.
Yep.
You know, but be quick to fire and slow to hire. Like, or you know what I mean? Like, in other words, if especially in the proposal period, guys, if you're finding resistance and difficulty pitching a client or with the like, let's say you got past the pitch and now you're presenting a proposal to a potential client, and there's any sort of, guys, trust your gut. If there's any sort of resistance or you feel like there's some sort of negativity there, or that it's going to be an issue, guys, don't, even when you're trying to start out, and I know you just want that revenue coming in so bad that you're willing to put up with some bullshit just to get it, trust me, you're better off passing it and going to the next person, because once a client's a pain in the ass, they're always going to be a pain in the ass, and it doesn't change. They don't magically get better after you've provided them results. All they're going to do once you've provided them results is complain about the ongoing costs or that they're not getting even better results. My point is, if you feel like there's going to be any type of problem with a potential client, skip it, move on, find somebody else to pitch. Because trust me, they never get easier. And once you do find good clients, hold on to them. You know, keep them happy, because they're the ones that will stay with you for years with very little requirement of additional effort. You know, you just got to maintain for them.
And I wanted to say one more thing too about this. I can't believe I didn't think about this while I was talking, but this to me, and this is a blatant push for the mastermind, but of how we all came together and some of the stuff we've been able to do is based upon us talking to each other and just having that interaction. So, you know, if it's not literally the Semantic Mastery Mastermind, I highly encourage you to go out and find others you can talk to and learn from, because like I said, you know, doing the lead gen stuff, when Bradley told me about how he's doing some of that, I was like, oh shit, I hadn't even thought about doing it that way.
Yeah.
And then Daniel also had a question here about verifying leads for revenue sharing. It depends exactly how you're doing it. Bradley's talked about this before, but there's ways you can do it. You know, if you're doing phone calls, you can agree upon using a call tracking system and the length of time on the phone. You know, if you're using clicks, that's obviously easy to track, things like that. That's how you do that. You don't just trust your client to be honest and report numbers back to you.
Yeah, well, it depends on the model. Yeah, I mean, like with revenue share, it's a little bit different than you know, like if pay-per-lead is actually fairly easy to track, because you can say, you know, call durations over 90 seconds, for example, you're going to pay for that cost for that lead. It depends on what, you know, you have to kind of dial in the window of what is considered a qualifying call. So pay-per-lead is fairly easy to bill. What's difficult is a revenue share. That model is difficult because it takes a long time. Like I said, I've had a lot of revenue share contractors that I've had that agreement with that have absolutely stolen from me. In other words, they've closed jobs and reported that they hadn't, and then have found out through various ways that they were lying to me, and so I've had to fire them, which to me is so stupid for a contractor to do that, because they're getting somebody that's funneling leads to them that they only have to pay for leads that they've closed. So it's up to them to do the closing, which on my part as the lead provider, I'm losing money, because as long as I'm generating leads, I'm doing my job, right? So and that's why pay per lead is a bit easier, because with pay per lead, as long as you're doing your job, you're getting paid, because you're generating the leads, which was your job. You're getting paid for each of those leads. Whether the client or the contractor closes that job or not, that's up to them. They're still paying for the lead. So with revenue share, I'm putting some risk involved. You know, I'm risking revenue as well, because I'm sending leads to a contractor, and it's up to their capability of closing the sale in order for me to get paid. So if they're shitty at answering the phone, or you know, or they're bad salesmen or whatever, then I don't get paid, right? And so it's a real process to work through, sifting through a bunch of bad contractors to find the ones that are good. But when you do find a good relationship, you know, you have a good service provider to service those leads, and for a revenue share model, then it can be incredibly lucrative. Like my top tree service guy is he's been working with me now for 4 years. He's a Christian man. He's a really, really good dude. I trust him 100%. and it's strictly revenue share, and he pays me 10% of whatever the contract is on jobs, and we've literally closed $47,000 tree removal jobs, and he's paid me $4,700, and he pays me cash money, by the way, like literally cash money. I freaking love it, So and oftentimes a typical tree job for him is anywhere between $800 to $1,200. So that's $80 to $120 for a typical tree job, and he'll do during the spring and the summer dozens of jobs per week. So it's very, very lucrative. Whereas pay per lead, I might only make $40 per call or $50 per call or something like that, and I end up not making as much money as I do on the revenue share, but it really just depends. So I don't know. Hopefully that was helpful, guys. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. We always talk about that. So you just got to pick something that you're comfortable with and get good at it before trying other stuff. So. Okay, Ed says, if I order one of the link building packages, I'm assuming you guys would need all my various tiers of links from tier 1, 2, and 3 for all sites in the network, correct? In assuming all 500 to 1,000 keywords for anchors should not have geo modifiers included in them since I target various areas, correct? Thanks, guys. Yeah, Ed, yes, just collect all your URLs straight out of your spreadsheets, just the homepage URLs of all your profiles, and send them over when you order. Place them in the order form, I mean. As far as the keywords, yeah, you want to go with just broad keywords. You don't need geo modifiers. Just go with broad keywords, and I mean you can go real broad with those too. In fact, we're going to be mixing in generics and doing URL anchors anyways. So, and to be honest with you, that is apparently what stops a lot of people from ordering, is because they look at the 500 to 1,000 keywords and they go, holy crap, how do I get that? And they just don't order. So we're going to be making an option to where you just need to provide like 5 keywords. That's not available yet, is it, Hernan? Like we haven't changed that yet, have we?
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, well soon.
No,
soon we will change.
I don't think it is.
Soon that'll be changed to where you just got to provide like 5 keywords, and then we'll do the rest from there. So.
No, yeah, that's not available, but maybe we can talk about it to implement it. But yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, we need to do that because that's preventing a lot of people from ordering. So.
Yeah.
Because remember, guys, these are generic. Like we're not. That's in part why we don't build links to money sites for you guys. We just won't do it. Okay, there's too much liability there, and we got to make sure that the keywords that you guys submit would be spot on, and it wouldn't throw off your percentages and everything out. Your anchor text percentages. So that's why we only build to tier 1 rings or beyond because of that reason. And so you want to go with broad keywords. That's all we need. We don't need exact match anything. Okay, just go with broad.
And also remember, Ed, that we are using at least 75% of generics with your keywords.
Yep.
So there's we are asking that many keywords for diversity, but there's a good chance that we're not using them all because we are focusing heavily on generics and URL keywords.
Yep. Okay, Kevin says, if I copy and paste half a news article from another site as a blog post for my site, and I remove the original article's outbound links, plus cite the source with a click here for more information or click here for original article, can my site get hit by Google for duplicate content? No, it can't, Kevin. Duplicate content only applies for duplicate content on the same site. It does not apply for republishing content onto other sites. Okay, especially when you have an attribution link, which is what you should have, because you should absolutely cite the source when you're borrowing content from other sites. Guys, it's only ethical to begin with, but plus that's, there's a legal aspect of it too, but ethically you should be citing the source anyways. And no, duplicate content only applies to duplicate content on the same domain. It does not apply to on other sites. Should I just add the canonical tag to the click here for original link to be safe? Well, you could, but then you'd be passing, like, you technically could do that. For example, like if you're using like the Yoast SEO plugin or whatever, you can set a canonical tag in the plugin, the plugin settings for that post or that page, and you could set a canonical tag to point to the original. But I wouldn't do that, especially if you're only doing like, if you're curating content, you don't want to do that because you want your curated post to stand on its own. You would just attribute or cite the source within the post itself to where you got the content for that particular snippet that you've curated. but you're going to be curating other sources too, and you can only set a canonical to point to one location, right? And so typically, Kevin, I don't recommend using other people's content as the only content for a blog post. Like, what I mean by that is not like just take one source of content, republish it on your own blog, and put an attribution link to the source and say, okay, that's it, I'm done, my blog post is done. Don't do that. If you're going to borrow other people's content, either curate it with additional content sources, like at least 2. So take a little bit of an article from here, cite the source, then take a little bit of an article or a video that's topically relevant to the same point that you're trying to make within your blog post, and post that. At least 2 content sources. You're better off with 3, but I would say a minimum of 2. Cite the sources and also inject your own opinion into the article so that it does make it unique and original. That's what you really want, because Google loves that kind of content. Google loves curated content if it's done right.
And what you just explained is explained in further detail in Curation Mastery.
Yeah, exactly. Curation Mastery, Kevin. If you haven't picked that up, get it, or come join the Mastermind and you'll get that for free as part of the Mastermind, because Curation Academy is an entire course specifically about how to curate content properly, the way that Google loves, and how you can actually create a content marketing business out of that, which is an entire another source of revenue. A lot of my money from client work, from the question that Florian asked, comes from content marketing, not necessarily SEO. It comes from content marketing because the content marketing is part of my SEO strategy. And we do blogging, like I provide blogging services to businesses that syndicate to their syndication networks and update their social media properties. So it's kind of like a content marketing business with some SEO benefits. And that's a really good stream of revenue because it's all outsourced, you know? All right, Ben Willis, we're almost out of time. We got to run through the next few because it looks like we got a bunch of stuff up here still. Ben says, I have 4 unused PBNs and now moving towards topical trust flow. They don't really fit in with the target market I am going after. I want to double 301 these existing unused PBN 301 to an expired related domain, and then 301 to a new highly related topical trust flow PBN that I will build an IFTTT ring around as a tier 2 property. That's a great strategy, Ben. It's a good way to repurpose non-themed PBN domains to basically utilize the juice from those in the proper way. That's a good way to do it. I know URL shorteners will work well, but I prefer to have it at least linked to a related site before ending up at the target one. I've tried to make it look slightly relevant, i.e. .co.uk domains, all 301 to another, but the sites themselves are completely unrelated. My question is, how many 301s in a single domain is safe, and does the above setup sound okay, or would you suggest a different strategy? No, that would work. Like if you've got a PBN domain that is the topical relevancy is unrelated to what you are going to use it to link to, then you put a bridge point in there. Okay, so exactly like what you're describing, Ben. I would find another topically related, topical relevant domain that you can find using domain crawlers or whatever that have, inbound links that are topically relevant to what you're going to be linking to, ultimately your target URL, your money site, and build out a PBN on that, and then just redirect the original non-topically relevant PBN domain to that middle point, right? Because then what you're doing is you're just pushing juice to that topically relevant PBN domain, the one that is now going to link to your money site. And that link to your money site is going to get a bit stronger, but because it's coming from a topically relevant domain, that middle point that's pointing to your money site, you're still going to have the topical relevancy when it ends at its final destination, your target URL, your money site. So that's a great way to do it. As far as how many 301s can you do to that middle point, in that case, I wouldn't worry about doing 4. You said you have 4 unused PBNs. I wouldn't mind doing 4 301 redirects to the middle point. I wouldn't do 4 301s to my money site, at least not all at once. I might spread it out over a period of time. But 4 to a PBN that's going to be pointed to your money site, I wouldn't have any problem with that because it's only a PBN.
And again, these are things that we get into very much more in depth in our mastermind, how to repurpose topical trust flow.
That's right. And we go into that a lot, and that and in RYS Academy. Man up. Really? Depends for men? Oh, wow, Clint.
Don't be a little bee.
Yeah. Chris says, for blog syndication, I have a branded tier 1 and will build second tier 1 persona topical related. Should this second tier 1 be also triggered? I wouldn't do that, Chris. Don't do that. Seriously, Chris, if you're going to, don't do a second tier 1 network for blogs ever, guys. Don't do that. That's a footprint. It's going to cause you problems down the road. It won't immediately, but it can cause you problems. You can get a manual, an unnatural link notification in Google Search Console for that. Don't do that. Trust me, I know I've gotten them when I've done that. So don't do that, guys. Use a tier 1 branded network only for blog syndication. If you want to increase the juice or the power, you can set up the tier 2 networks. Do not stack tier 1 networks on blogs. You can do it for YouTube channels, but don't do it for blogs. Okay? Seriously, don't. Go with tier 2 networks then. Just make sure you're using the related content triggers. Okay? But do not stack tier 1 networks on money sites, guys. It will cause you problems down the road. I promise you that. Damon, absolutely, +1 that. They are complete extortionists. One of my clients just got an extortion letter from them for a fucking, pardon my language, but a stupid image that was, it was a curated image, and we even gave proper attribution, and they still sent them an extortion letter. So now we don't use those images anymore. By the way, guys, what we're using for images now, and this is talked about in the Curation Mastery course, but is taking screenshots from inside YouTube videos. We're using those as images for curated now. Just go do a keyword search for whatever the blog post topic is. Sort the results in YouTube by go to the filter and go select HD. Click on HD so it only shows HD videos. Start playing the video. Pause it where you see an image that looks like it's relevant to your blog post and take a screenshot of it. That's what we're doing now, and it works really well because of them assholes with them extortionist Getty images.
Yeah, and there's a bunch. I think we put a bunch of if not we could, but we put a bunch of free images, banks or websites that you can use and download. Pixabay is one, and I love it.
Yep.
And you have a bunch of free images that you can use as well.
Yep. Chris, yeah, we're gonna be. I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done with the Hump Day Hangout here in about 4 minutes, I'm gonna set up the event for the mastermind tomorrow, the emergency meeting, so to speak. It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about this, and with participation from you guys, should be pretty awesome. Let's see. Is there any way of knowing if a YouTube video has been penalized in any way? We don't probably have time to get into this. I want to be ranked first in a month. I'll give you like $50 like that. Let's take a look at this. Let's see. Is there any way of knowing if a YouTube video has been penalized anyway? Dustin, I've heard of videos being penalized. The only thing I've ever seen happen personally with my own stuff is that a video will drop significantly in the results. I've never seen a video de-indexed. I've seen channels terminated, but I've never seen a video de-indexed. I've seen it where it doesn't show up in Google like normal search, but it will show up in video search. In other words, like the vertical, it's still in Google search, but it's in the video search only, and it doesn't show up in like the, top 10 or 15 pages. But typically that's something that will come back. It's just a kind of a fluke or an anomaly, as I like to call it. Most of the time, though, if it shows up in video search, it will show up in Google search too. And I've seen it where it's significantly dropped, and usually that was because of over-optimization of anchor text. Like where it used to be, we could just hammer the main keyword with links, with anchor text was the main keyword, but not so much anymore. You still want a little bit of diversity. You can still be pretty egregious with YouTube, but you still want some diversity. And something else to check is the on-page. In your video description, have you spammed the video description with keyword stuffing? Because if so, just go unspam it, reduce the use of your keyword, add some LSIs, things like that, change the inside the video description, perhaps change the title a bit, switch to a different keyword or make it a bit more long tail or something like that. Just make some changes. The easy stuff you can do, which is adjusting the on page, and see if, and then give it time, guys. Remember, stop playing with stuff like making adjustments and then like 3 days later, if it hasn't moved, making more adjustments. Don't do that. Make some adjustments and give it a week and see if it comes back. Oftentimes it'll come back before that with YouTube, but sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll take longer. So, does anybody else have any specific experience with knowing if a good video is penalized?
Not on my end.
Okay.
No, in fact, I've sent up to 400,000 or so backlinks to one video to rank it just for shit and giggles, and it's still in the index, so I don't think you can get it de-indexed.
Shit. You guys are still seeing my Logan X. How do we spell that again? Logan X. I'm looking for that. Here it is. I'm gonna share this for, I think it was Kevin that asked about this, so just give me a minute. Here you go, Kevin. This is for you, buddy. This is the Logan X referral spam blocker that they have. Was it Kevin that asked that? Yeah. I'm gonna drop this on the page, and we got to go, guys. It's 5 o'clock, but
yeah. So while Bradley's doing that, we had one of the questions. Hold on, let me scroll up here. First of all, Kendrick, thank you for that awesome picture. I'm totally saving that. And Damon was asking, what else comes with the mastermind? So you get access to all of our products that are retail at 300 or less. So that's including subscription stuff. So like you get the mastermind, that's included in your, or sorry, you get the masterclass, that's included. All right, you get curation, mastery, YouTube Silo Academy, IFTTT, SEO. Am I missing something here? I'm thinking.
Yeah, V2 when it comes up.
Yep, IFTTT 2.0. You get access to the backlog of the mastermind webinars. You get access to the private community, and you get access to all the upcoming webinars, obviously. So like I said, all the products are, if you don't have access to them, you get those. And again, that includes the masterclass. There isn't, if you're already in the masterclass, we cancel your masterclass payments and you just stay in it. So
yeah. Essentially, you get everything that we put out, past, present, and future. That's under $300. It's absolutely 100% included in your membership. You also get access to us in the discussion forum, which is our community. And you get access to us as well as all the other SEO professionals in there, which we've got about 130 in there now. Several dozen of which are actively engaged at all times in the community. So it's with a lot of discussions. It's not just us you'll learn from. It's also from others as well. That's what makes it a true mastermind. It's not just like, hey, come listen to our shit all the time. And in anything over $300, you guys get 30% discount on, and also first crack at all the products and services that we launch. You guys often get beta access first, or at least before we release it to the public, you get first shot at it. So
yeah, just clear up one more question here. You get the access. You don't get a discount. Like I said, it depends. If it's over $300, you get a straight up 30% discount. But the rest of the stuff we mentioned, you just get access to. Addition to that, you get lower prices on IFTTT networks, and when we can, we work out special deals for mastermind members that other people just don't hear about for other things.
Yeah.
And again, you can lock it up at 197 before, what is it, 12 p.m. Eastern or midnight Eastern.
Well, we're gonna be working on switching it over this evening, so I'll put it off for a couple hours, but that's it.
Yeah, but it is going up $100. I mean, we don't play with that. When we say it goes up, it's going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we inevitably get a couple emails the day after, and it's like, well, sorry.
And it's only, guys, it's not the whole, it's the fact that the value keeps increasing, and we've got a lot of stuff coming out this year that we're working on, that's going to be, as the value increases, so should the payments. But it's totally worth it. I highly recommend you jump in. If you're not at a position where you can do it yet, then don't. Just join when you can. And it might be more expensive, but so be it. If you need to wait till you're there, so be it. So.
Yep.
Adam's going to go work on his laser.
My friggin' laser beams. Yeah, you can join the mastermind and ask me laser questions, and I'll probably delete the post. So.
Okay, guys. Thanks for everybody being here. We will see you next week. Mastermind members, if you are available briefly tomorrow at 4 p.m., we're going to have this kind of impromptu mastermind. I think it's really exciting, and I'd like to get some help from you guys if you can participate. So if you can be there, great. If not, you can watch the replay and still comment below. So we'll see you all then. Thanks.
Damon's in. Welcome to the mastermind, Damon.
Yeah, Damon. About time, buddy.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.